Hello friends, in this video we are going to see about some basic functional groups which are found in biomolecules, and then we will see about amino acids. So first, if we see, we will I have written in that different order, but if we see means there is ester is there, ether is there, which we would have covered in high school. So ester means C double bond O in between two alkyl groups R1 and R2. Ether means an oxygen group between two alkyl groups R1 and R2. This R1 and R2 can be same or different. And thioester means C double bond O, yes, instead of oxygen we are having a sulfur group, so C double bond O, yes. This is also between two alkyl groups R1 and R2. And hydroxyl group means ROH. Carbonyl group means C double bond O between R1 and R2. So if this is the case, we call this carbonyl group as ketone. And if the carbonyl, this is number 5, if this carbonyl group is going to have an H instead of R2, instead of R2, if there is going to be a hydrogen atom, then we will have RC double bond OH, carbonyl aldehyde. That is written side by side for easy comparison. And carboxyl means C double bond O minus, and phosphoanhydride means two phosphor groups linked by an oxygen, P double bond O minus, P double bond O minus linked by an oxygen, phosphoanhydride group. Amido group means C double bond O NH2, and guanidino group means R NH C double bond O NH, and then NH2. So there are three nitrogen groups, nitrogen linked with the hydrogen linked to a carbon. So carbon is in the middle and there are three surrounding nitrogen atoms. So if this is the case means then we call that as a guanidine, and then we have imidazole number 9. So imidazole will have a cyclic structure, and here R then C linked with double bonded to C, and then which is again single bonded with nitrogen on this side, and this carbon is linked with a nitrogen on this side, and finally these two nitrogens are again linked to a carbon. So this means this is an imidazole. Sulfhydryl means R2 sulfur and a hydrogen, sulfhydryl group. It's a very simple thing. Methyl and ethyl we would have covered in we might have seen in high school, like RCH3 and RCH2CH3. And then anhydride means R1 C double bond O C double bond O R2. So this is similar to phosphoanhydride. In phosphoanhydride we have P double bond O minus linked to P double bond O minus by an oxygen. In anhydride we have C double bond O linked to C double bond O by an oxygen. And mixed anhydride we will have C double bond O linked to P double bond O minus by an oxygen, mixed anhydride. Amino group means RNH2, simple. And phosphoryl group means RO P double bond O, and then on top we have O minus, and then this side OH, that is PO3. PO3 it usually we call like 3 oxygen atoms will be there. So if this is the case means we call that as phosphoryl. And phenyl group number 17, we have phenyl group. So in phenyl group it's a benzene ring. So this benzene ring is explained in detail. Phenyl group that is linked to an R. So if R is linked to a kind of benzene ring, we call that as a phenyl group. And disulfide means R1 S single bonded with S, and then R2. So this is disulfide. So these are the basic functional groups which might be for we will see in mostly in biomolecules.